Shamans, we understand, cause we are the tech shamans. Dude, I got this cool thing to show you. Really, man? Yeah, it's far out and technical and stuff. Awesome. Yeah. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Cool.
Hey everybody, good morning. It's the Tech Shamans. We are live. We are not recorded, and I think we're on Facebook again.
We are on air.
The question is Facebook up today?
Let's see if we can break it again today.
It took 3 or 4 days to get many of the functions back. It was crazy.
Yeah,
just crazy.
Well, it's kind of amazing, and it's kind of amazing that it just happened to be when that young lady was spilling her guts and all that kind of stuff. Funny how that works out, doesn't it?
Yeah, except
there's another $1.
That was totally pro Facebook whistleblowing.
Everybody's checking their phones now.
Are we there?
Oh my! It's like,
no, that was that was weird. What was nice was, of course, I actually wrote an article for my blog called "Mommy, Where Were You the Day that when Facebook died?" And
there's going to be a lot of new babies.
And 6 hours with nothing else to do, man.
Right? It's like...
No, actually, work productivity skyrocketed on Monday.
Probably.
Yeah, because people at work had nothing else to do.
I really would not doubt that.
No, God, no. I mean, when is the best time to, if you run their analytics, the best time to put a post out for a small business, you left yours on now, ha ha. The best time is to like 9:30 a.m. on Monday or Tuesday.
Really?
Yeah, because everybody gets to work, look busy for a minute, and then switch on Facebook.
Okay.
And that's exactly what they do. So, yeah, there's huge surges in activity at the beginning and after lunch as well. They come back from lunch and they get on Facebook.
Right.
Yeah. So that's how that all works. Which is silly. But like I said, we didn't really care because you folks all know you can get us at webeamtv.com 24/7. And there's more services and more fun stuff coming there soon as well. So keep your eye on that one. Because we've never relied on them for our actual viewers. Our viewers know to go to webeamtv.com and watch there.
So here's something annoying. I have to say this because it's driving me insane.
There's something annoying that's driving John insane. John, over to you.
Because they use real plants out in the mall.
Oh, in the mall.
Right? There's these little bugs that always fly in. And we're good until we open
fruit
the
flies?
doors up. No, they're little tsetse flies or whatever those
Well, I hope they're not freaking tsetse flies.
They're all waiting at the front door.
They are. They're waiting for us to open up. It's driving. I've got to put something out there that
It's those new giant wooden doors we have. They love the wood. It's like, oh, look natural.
Oh, then we need to put poison
but they were
on
here
it so
before anyway, so.
You should just put a bug zapper.
right here, right here.
Yeah.
We need a bug zapper.
Anyway, so
they'll fall on John's head.
They're bothering me. They love the shine.
I just saw one go by. He's like,
they love
it's the glistening,
shine.
it's the sweat, it's the shine.
And it's sunburned.
It's shaman sweat.
It is. It is. It hurts. I was out in the sun.
We're now a sweat lodge. Okay. So
yeah. Anyway, so I didn't really tech this weekend at all. I cut bushes and did yard work, and I got a new smoker, which I haven't got the chance to use yet.
Yeah, which would have been tech because smoking is tech, right?
It's fire.
Yeah, fire is tech.
Fire's good.
Fire and metal and stuff,
Well,
and you have
really...
to know how much to smoke and what to use because it's like I'm going to burn this asbestos. And use that to smoke it.
You don't use asbestos? To smoke?
I use coal.
It smokes really good, man.
I really want you to think about burning asbestos for just a second. The reason you use it is because it's not flammable.
No, it smokes.
Well, of course, but
It
it's not
just
flammable.
smolders and
So,
get this funky
you get this
taste.
nice
everything.
odor that just permeates everything, and just shortens your lifespan
Oh, and the
tremendously.
particles.
But
Oh,
yeah.
the particles are wonderful.
Oh
Right?
yeah, they're
Yeah.
good for you too.
Inhale.
Just like smoking.
Breathe it in. Breathe it out.
And for all of you out there, today's episode is sponsored by Delaney and Delaney Legal Firm. Have you been injured by asbestos?
Or have you eaten at John's house? Hey,
Have you eaten at John's house?
Have you smoked with asbestos lately?
right? Oh God. Anyway.
Okay.
So, yeah, I didn't tech, and it was really it's actually kind of nice, to be honest with you. And I tell you what, I go back to the Facebook thing. I actually enjoyed no Facebook.
It was nice having it off. It's just like, yeah, whatever, never mind.
As much as
And
we
it was
use
nice.
it, and I know we
Yeah.
use it, it's
It was
was
pleasant
okay
to
not
have
to
it
use.
gone and just
Right.
not be an option.
right.
And I didn't find myself jumping to other platforms, which I also have activated, and check regularly. But Facebook is the one that is really hitting the dopamine receptors and firing those off. And yeah, and so because they're the best at it, and they know what to do, and they know how to make it happen, and it works, and it just fires the dopamine, and I no longer
had
feel
an
like a
influx.
complete loser.
Well,
Okay. Because somebody liked to post.
Well,
that I put
here's
up.
something. So the thing of it is you had Facebook went down, Instagram went down, WhatsApp went down, Messenger went down,
Yep.
and it was kind of a big deal, So I
Kind
don't
of.
know.
Yep.
Twitter had some infrastructure issues once everybody started jumping over there to find out why Facebook went down.
I can imagine. Yeah, a little overload on that
So
server.
there was funny. Somebody on Twitter, one of their social media managers, said, "Hey, McDonald's," and it said, "McDonald's, how can I help you?" It was one of the posts from McDonald's, and Twitter said, "Hey, how about 5.9 million nuggets for my friends?" Oh, it was hilarious.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
So, we have important things that are happening in the tech world this week.
We do, and it's the funny thing is the first thing we're going to talk to is, and I kind of when this kind of put in there, unless we're setting Bruce Willis up and Deshimmy up, I'm not sure this is a great idea. So NASA's going to nudge an asteroid to keep it from threatening Earth. Yeah, 'cause that always works.
Really worried by this because first of all, this is a binary asteroid system. There are two that are in like gravitational pull with each other. And so knocking one is going to impact the other, whether we like it or not. That's a lot of variables to try and calculate across a couple of million miles. And, this speed, that speed, you're off by a quarter of an inch can make a big difference. And I'm like, yeah, what could possibly go wrong? We could end up knocking one out of the way and moving the other one much closer.
Yeah, right.
That scared the hell out of me. But then I read another article on it. The reason they targeted these is because of these variables and because it's not actually a threat. And so it would take an act of God to basically for them to hit it with enough power to make it a threat. So, of course, there's the law of unintended consequences that always applies. There's the butterfly effect. I mean, we've all seen, Jurassic Park and how little things happen. And oops, I didn't mean for that to happen. I thought I covered that. But so we end up with, I felt better when I found out that it was not really supposed to be a threat. And that they were just experimenting on this. Unlike the Bruce Willis movie, in which that was an imminent threat, they'd never tried it before, we're just going to go up and do it, and, Bruce is going to go boom.
So which did you like better, Armageddon or Deep Impact?
Oh, Armageddon. It was just a better movie. It had a better song. It had Batman.
Yeah.
It had Batman in it. How do you go wrong? It had Batman and John McClane. I want you to think about that. How could we lose with Batman and John McClane on the rocket? Okay? I mean, it's like Die Hard with a Vengeance. It's just done. Okay? Yeah. Total winner. As opposed to the one with, was that, oh God.
Yeah.
No, God wasn't in it.
Yes, he was. In Deep Impact. The guy who plays God all the
Oh,
time, his
Morgan
voice.
Freeman.
Morgan Freeman, exactly.
he was the
yeah.
president.
God was in it, okay?
God.
And he still couldn't survive, okay? So I'm sorry. It's just, we're
Well,
going
see,
to let Batman
to
and
me, that was more
John McClane
of
do it.
that was more of the reality.
Well, sure, but what fun is that?
I know.
I mean, I'm going there to escape.
Reality, suck it. Reality, suck it.
Exactly. I'm going to watch
And
Lord of the Rings
we're
again.
we're hitting the little satellite asteroid too, part of it, aren't we?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
That's what we're going
to me,
after.
it's
Let's see
like-
what happens.
All right.
My God, can you imagine we hit the one that starts a slingshot thing,
You know-
and then it gathers up all these other ones, and they all come straight for Earth.
And you imagine us doing that, but then again, another alien civilization uses us and knocks out our moon because we're a threat heading
Right.
towards their planet.
Right. God.
Dang it!
Oh.
See?
Oh, we gotta-
Consequences.
Consequences.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
Oh, don't care about the other people in
it's
the,
more
in the
like
universe. Screw those
analogy than
guys.
consequence. It'd be like, I mean, like, wow. I've been listening to Orson Welles' War of the Worlds this weekend, the 1939 broadcast. And it is just so much fun to listen to. To hear how things have really developed in the way they talk about science and revere it, and it's unquestioned, and this expert gets on and he's like, well, I believe the heat ray is created and then bounced off some kind of reflective lens of which we have no understanding. It's called a mirror, okay? But so yeah, but you got to believe him because he's a scientist from Princeton.
And back then we were afraid of aliens, and today we can give two craps.
Today we're like,
And today-
come on
there's
down,
aliens,
Mr.
come on,
Alien.
Today
So
we need
cool.
filters because we're afraid of mirrors. Okay, that's the real thing that's going on. So, all right. So
That's great.
that's the first thing on the list.
Yeah, I know.
The next thing is still space oriented.
It's kind of funny. Rob said this right. We have Deep Impact, or we have Armageddon,
Yeah.
and the next we have Star Trek. No, I mean, Star Trek.
Yeah.
Because it's both. The next two things are Shatner
Yep.
did a rant,
We're supposed to go up tomorrow.
right?
Yeah.
Got postponed.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Well, we'll get there, But he said he was scared.
Yeah. Well, apparently he was really like nervously chattering at the New York Comic-Con, and he was visibly shaken by
Wait.
the prospect of doing this thing.
Of going to space?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you mean?
I know.
it's always
He's
been
like
fake?
lived there for 50 years, as far as I knew.
What the hell?
But this is like the rubber's meeting the road, and this is, honestly, this is a beautiful analogy for Galaxy Quest. Because you think about it, they were just actors on a set, and suddenly they're getting picked up, moved off, and they're actually in the spaceship. Yeah. Unfortunately, for them, they landed in the same spaceship that they were on, and it all worked. It had artificial gravity and all this stuff, and Shatner's being rocketed up in a giant penis. And that's entirely different. Entirely different.
What a dick.
So, yes, speaking of Jeff Bezos,
Oh wow!
it's his
So easy
rocket.
for you.
Yeah, it's like this is low-hanging fruit.
But it did. But so they did postpone it.
Yes,
Now, I
by
didn't
one day.
I didn't see why.
Oh, wind. They're forecasting high winds tomorrow at the launch site, so they wanted to wait a day. So I don't know,
Wow.
if that wasn't.
Man, could I go somewhere with that one? I'm just saying. A little
Yes.
wind blows,
Yeah.
Good for you.
Here's the rocket. So, Bezos didn't want his rocket getting blown. So he postponed it a day. And Bill Shatner is breathing easy for another day.
More day.
I'm kind of psyched about it. I'm kind of hoping nothing bad happens because I really think if something bad is going to happen, that man has led such a freaking charmed life. It's hard to imagine that it would go wrong now when he actually gets a chance to go to space. But you know what? 55 years.
I love the fact that his spacesuit has AKA on it.
I didn't know
Yeah, Rob, show that again.
William
Well, he
Shatner?
can't say underneath. It's AKA.
AKA Captain Kirk?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Captain James T. Kirk, I think is what it says.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Right.
There was...
Tell you what, man, for 90 years old, he looks freaking
It
good.
looks freaking amazing.
I mean,
I
don't know how that's even possible.
Yeah, dang.
He hasn't changed in like 15 years. And so we know he's drinking the blood of virgins. That's all there is to it. Okay? He's proof that all those conspiracy QAnon theories are true. So,
Right.
Oh, wait, did I just say that on Facebook? Boop, there we go. Look at that.
Oh, you got to
Going
knock
down.
If only I could bring Facebook off
to
again.
go.
There we go. We're zoomed in now. AKA, I love that. I freaking love
Yeah,
that.
I
mean, he's done more. Oh, that's the other thing. He's actually going to get honorary astronaut, most likely get honorary astronaut classification for it, because if they give it to you, if you go to space and you have done enormous amounts of things to help promote space travel and space exploration, and he got that award in 2014. It's a caveat in the actual award, or in the classification
Right, I get what you're saying.
that he now moves forward, and they bring it up from 2014, 7 years later, when he goes into space. He gets to be the first one that gets launched up that nobody can say, no, you're not an astronaut.
And he's going up as the captain.
Well, of course. I mean, do you really want him in the back going?
No, I'm just saying.
You know,
they
I mean,
give him.
we
They're
saw
giving,
what happened.
they're giving him the designation of
We
captain.
saw what happened in Star Trek Generations when that happened. Okay, he died. He needs to be captain.
Captain James T. Kirk.
Oh, I hope he doesn't have a nervous meltdown in there. Start freaking out, trying to really run the ship.
You know, no. All he has to do
I'm really
is
not prepared for this.
I hope he
I
goes
just pooped my
into-
pants.
That's what it is. They had to wait
I
a day
think
because his
it's-
new supply of Depends were late. But
Oh.
no, but
depends
honestly,
on the weather.
Yeah.
Depends
No,
on
but honestly, if he drops back into equestrian mindset, he'll be fine. Because if you're on a horse that's going crazy, you have to sit back, calm down, shut up, and don't drive the energy of the horse. Because
Right.
the horse is picking up on your
Yeah,
energy.
yeah.
And so I'll bet you 9 out of 10 that he will, if anything happens, he will drop back into horse mode. And he will just go quiet.
Horse mode.
Yes.
I love
So there we
horse
go.
mode. All right.
That's the Bill
So,
Shatner story.
We're going to talk about Windows 11.
We started.
I'm just going to laugh.
It looks stupid. Stupid.
Well, there's a couple things.
So what's the big difference?
Everybody that I know of is saying that we're not doing it.
It's not all it's cracked up. First off, if you have any kind of computer that's just a little bit old, yeah,
Look
you're
at
not.
those
Go
rounded
back to that- go back to that
corners.
again.
Look at the rounded edges on the screens.
Yes.
Wow, that's like they finally caught up with Apple 2015.
Look at the dock. They purposely stuck the dock, the start menu, directly in the middle on first install.
Yeah, just
You can move it to the left,
left.
back to the left again.
To the left,
but
to the left.
The menus are very awkward. They are reminiscent of Mac OS, or even more like tablet features.
Yeah.
They look playful, kind of like the Android operating system type.
Yeah.
Cartoony looking. I really don't care for it. They're taking a lot of the old legacy features out of the operating system, so trying to figure out where stuff is located is very difficult.
Yeah, we went through something like that with the iPhone recently, the latest update, 15 was it? Where they moved in Safari, they moved the address bar to the bottom.
That's so.
That is the
bothersome.
weirdest thing.
That's still
And
not
it's
gotten used
still,
to
I'm
it.
still going to the top for it,
Yeah.
weeks later. But it's tough breaking a habit. But when you're actually removing features or burying them deep, that's one thing at least Apple never does. They never bury your features.
Oh,
But-
and forget about it. It's such a hit and miss right now with the upgrade. Microsoft really messed up, I think, with launching this between chip shortages, hardware shortages, and the requirements for Windows 10,
Oh,
Windows
wow.
11
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
Yeah, so you're saying you have to go get a new computer. Psych.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have a minimum of an 8th generation Intel system with a TPM chip
Wow.
in order to support or upgrade your system. So if you run your Windows upgrade, if your computer can run Windows 11, it'll after you do and search for updates, it'll tell you right then and there this computer is capable of running it or whether it's not. A majority, Microsoft used to be really good at saying, okay, we want our software to be on everything.
Right.
Yeah, so we make it slick, we make it, small,
right. They
fast.
need that operating system to be on as many devices as possible.
Yeah.
And now they've just basically said, no.
Yeah.
Only on the good stuff.
And, what they're trying to do, though, is enhance security. So they're pushing this software that pushes you to get the new chips. The new chips and the new software and operating systems are all encoded
And
so that they are more
turning on
secure.
encryption
Right.
by default.
Yes.
Right.
Which is a good and a bad thing because first off, encryption's good. If your stuff is already encrypted, then it can't be encrypted again by a hacker, for instance.
Right.
And once the stuff's encrypted, it's already that way.
But what I have heard is there is a plug-in you can get for the Microsoft products that absolutely just takes care of all these issues. It's called Apple.
Ha!
There you go.
Wow. Speaking of chips, speaking of chips, we're gonna
John and Punch. I'm now going to call him Punch because we're chips.
Right. So now we're going to go. Talking about the AMD
70s
promises
TV,
two
you had to
fixes.
be there.
This is funny because
Why would you? Okay. I remember back in the day, if you said the word AMD, people would look at you like you're kidding me, right? You literally bought a machine that has an AMD.
right,
in
and
it.
AMDs now are phenomenal.
No, they're not.
They're phenomenal.
They're not. I'll
The
stick with
software
I'll stick
developers
with
of
Intel.
of your software is just not really doing what they need to do.
Yeah, because you know why? Because AMD sucks.
No. So anyway,
Intel forever. No, I'm just.
So-
if you really want something that don't fail, go buy a Mac.
go buy them. There you go.
But if you're gonna send something that's a little almost as stable, like 75% as stable as a Mac, go get yourself Intel. But because a friend of mine online, she posted, she has an HP, right? And she says, blah blah, this new update and all this kind of stuff, and Intel is so glitchy, blah blah blah. AMD is this and all that. I said, and I wrote her back. I said, back in the day, AMD was trash.
Yes.
Literally trash.
And it's funny with this update, this Windows 11. Right now, AMD's Ryzen's chips,
Yes.
and all the chips that are supported by the operating system that Microsoft said is compatible are not compatible.
Of course not.
No, there's a glitch in the operating system. Hey, what do you guess? So there's a call for the level 3 cache on a chip that Microsoft does make, and unfortunately, there's been some degradation in the Ryzen chips to the point where you'll lose. They're saying between 3 to 5% decrease in CPU output. Oh. But believe it or not, in some software packages, they've been seeing as much as 15% decrease in processor performance.
So that's crazy.
AMD's saying they're going to fix it, but to fix it, they have to work with Microsoft to correct the driver issue that's causing the issue.
You said work with Microsoft?
They have always, believe it or not, they have always worked with
Yes.
Microsoft on the background.
They
Of
have.
course.
And
we've-
so that's something. And you know what? It's not like Microsoft's not going to launch anything that's buggy right off the bat.
Oh no, never. They're going to test everything first.
I got to tell you, just a bunny hole here for a minute.
Bunny drill.
Bunny trail, that's it. I actually stopped buying HPs when I found out I didn't stand for Harry Potter. That really, really ticked me off. I've been buying them for years.
HP does have their consumer rating. They have really great customer support.
Yeah, because they have
they're
to.
constantly
You gotta
being
break it
called because the hardware is always failing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yes, they have great customer support.
Yes.
But if you look at the product rating,
I have 5 HP laptops at home in a pile.
yes.
And
All of them
those are your books
died at 13 months
13 months.
with a 12-month
Perfect.
warranty.
How about that?
All
Well,
5 of
I tell
them.
you, we have
Man, was
some.
I a slow learner.
I have some. One's keeping a door open.
Yep.
It's a prop. The other one's a prop. Actually,
a prop.
It was a prop on here for a while.
It's a prop.
The other one's target practice.
Oh.
I take it out there, and it'd be amazed how much fun you can have shooting a crossbow at it. It's
I may
fun.
have found a use for my 5 HPs.
What you do is you open it up, put your target right on there, and I haven't been able to get through the casing yet. I'm trying. I ordered a new head for one of my arrows. So
You know, really, what's funny is I think
Let me bring over my crossbows.
I think the whole point of Windows 11 is really targeting Microsoft's Surface line. That's
too.
what it. That's what it's.
okay,
really
so that
pushed
means
out.
that they're trying the exact same thing, and we all love our apples, right?
Right.
But Apple did the exact same thing.
Right.
They started working with the new chips for the mobile line first to see if they would work there, and if they worked there, they would make them powerful enough to go into
They're
their
trying to say-
laptops and computers.
They're literally telling their OEMs that you have to build a system with this, and this, or else you can't use our software.
Right.
In the meantime, they redesigned the whole interface to work so well with a Surface type Surface Book, which is, is kind of like, Microsoft is not Apple. They're not a hardware company. And they need to understand that if they want to push their product to all the OEMs and all the PC builders,
Everything's got to play together.
yeah, they have to play together, and they have to understand.
That has been the only reason they have stayed competitive, is because they are the catch-all
Correct.
for everything out there, whereas Apple is the unified platform and they are the catch-all. And if they're going to try and now go and compete with Apple in their space as a unified platform, two things are going to happen. One, other software is going to rise up.
Yes.
Okay, to take their place. Period. And two, they are known to be not as good as Apple. Period.
Right.
And so they're going to be they're going to kill themselves
They
if
are.
they try that.
Well, and then now Intel is being pulled away from Mac
Yes, and
because we're going back to old school.
and they're bashing Apple products.
Right.
There was recently an article where they were just showing how, they were letting Apple users use Windows machines, and they're like, they didn't realize they were not Apples. Really? Are you kidding me?
No,
No, no.
that's false advertisement.
That is
Well,
oh
beyond
my
that, that's
gosh.
stupid advertising.
It
Well,
is.
okay.
They were making Apple
that's like,
users look stupid.
we replaced this fine restaurant's, coffee with Folgers instant crystals. Okay, let's see if anyone noticed.
No, I got one better for you. It's like Spectrum. Well, we called our competition, and they said, well, yeah, you should use Spectrum because that's really good. No, they did not. No, there's nobody in their right mind is going to let the competition call you, and they're going to go, yeah, you'd be better off using Spectrum. I mean,
Well, they were.
I'm not bashing Spectrum. I'm just saying their commercial says that we literally called. I'm like, no, you did not. First of all, if you recorded them without them saying, that's against the law. Second of all, there's no way your competition is going to say you're better. I don't care what it is.
No, I have had them do that. Say, I can't match that deal. You're better to go with them. And that's what they say. That's what they're actually. We can't match that deal. I'm sorry. You're better off to go with them. They're not saying the service is better.
But
They're not
gonna
saying
do it for
any
a
of
commercial.
that.
Right.
They're not going to do it for a commercial, dude.
Well,
They're not.
Yeah, the real question is, how do they get those recordings?
They didn't. They made them.
Okay.
They didn't call nobody.
That's
They
the
made
real
them.
thing.
I can make those all day long. I can say that I called another production company, and then they said, well, you need to go with that Tampa Bay Multimedia because they're awesome. Just saying.
Okay, let's do it. I'm in.
You can't do it legally. That's my point.
Yes, you can.
Anyway.
Clearly.
Moving
on.
My question is how many of those ships sitting outside of New York and sitting out of California have our chips?
Well, I know a lot of them have our product because I ordered an iPad, the new 9th gen, and it's delayed by 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, because they're
They
sitting
should
out
have
there
had
in
it
the
immediately
ocean.
because they're all
Same thing
sitting
with
off
the
the
iPhones,
coast.
by the way.
iPhones too. I got my watch fast. That was cool.
Hey,
but,
you know how I know how to fix all of this.
So do I.
Make it all in America.
That will take too long.
That would take too long.
I have another way to fix it.
There's,
But let's move on.
you got to take too many breaks.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. What time is it? Oh, union break. I gotta go.
Gotta go.
Yep, sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys. We're in the middle of the show. We
We're
gotta leave.
going to break for commercials here.
Speaking of triggers,
It's going to look just like the regular program, but call it a commercial.
Speaking of triggers,
Trigger.
Amazon.
It's a commercial for Amazon. Told you.
It's got a big sale off of their WD and SanDisk storage, which is actually, this is a big deal for me because we use a lot of their product.
Now, I need you to remember too that SanDisk, of course, SanDisk is made by Western Digital, but
WD.
a lot of times these high, these high density devices, yeah, it's great. Oh, it's 256 gig, but a lot of times it's older technology than, like, say, for instance, you'll see a USB thumb drive, 256 gig. Yeah, that's a great price, $699 or something like that.
1.0.
Yeah.
Or it's a 2.0.
1.1 or 2.0
Right.
thumb drive that has super slow data transfer. That you go to transfer 256 gigs to it, and 5 days later you're still sitting there waiting for it to finish transferring. So you got to watch what you're purchasing. So check the speeds on the items and the SD cards and stuff like that, and make sure that it's going to be compatible with, number one, the hardware you're using, and number two, do you really want to wait that long?
So Bunny Trail.
Funny.
My son was telling me about a new spin-up hard drive that attaches to motherboards now that make SSDs look like old spin-ups. Have you heard about this?
No, I have not.
All right, that's what I said. I had not heard about this, and so I think next week, on next week's show, I think we should actually talk about that, because that is actually kind of cool.
Maybe.
The only problem is the minute he said attaches to the hard or to the motherboard, I'm like,
Yeah, I don't know. We gotta, yeah. Maybe he saw an old.
So does it go
technology out
into? Does it going to take it? So will it take places of our video cards?
there? I don't know.
Will it go into a slot?
Well, they do make SSD type storage, solid state storage that does plug into a PCI Express slot.
Really?
Yeah.
So that
they've
means
had
that-
those for years.
So if they could do storage that way, they could do just your main hard drive that way as well.
Well, yeah. I mean,
So
that storage.
Does that
storage
mean
device.
that we're going to get more slots on our motherboards now?
You could. Just
They'll
depends
be
on
bigger,
the form
though,
factor
right?
that you need to use.
Okay.
But then again, they're doing PCI Express in such small form factors nowadays. So we'll see. We'll see
Okay.
if that changes. I mean, especially with Microsoft pushing the envelope and telling everybody that they have to have these specific features
Right.
in order to use an operating system.
So I put a story in. Oh, God have mercy. Please stop doing this. The emergence of data centers as a service article. Did you guys read this at all?
Yeah, it
So-
was a deep read. What'd you come up with, Adam?
Really, the only thing I can see from this is basically a service center, a data center that's already there, and then you just rent servers.
Well, we do
but-
that already.
But here's the thing: is what they're likening it to is having backup copies of your data in multiple locations. So this data center as a service is actually not just a single data center going, hi, you can put your stuff
Right.
on our server, but it's like we're a service that makes sure that your data never goes down. So that you may have multiple ways of having your front of your app up or whatever it is, and that's great. You can have backup servers for that, but they're talking about backup servers that are live for your live data.
Okay, so if
That's what's crazy.
So if we took our on-demand side away from YouTube, which is probably what we're going to wind up doing anyway,
Yeah.
then we could use someone like this to house our on-demand video.
Yes. And they would handle it in a replicated way that would make sure that this one server goes down, another one automatically kicks on with the same data. That's what's crazy, because, I mean, technically you can do that by constantly updating your data everywhere. But they're talking about doing this kind of as a live feed that will keep multiple copies of your data up and live and running, okay, regardless of where it pulls from. Now, that also means that if you've got one that's slow and boggy, it'll automatically switch over.
Right.
So it doesn't have to die for it to happen.
So you run the
But-
chance of not overloading your websites. So say if someone goes and watches
Yes.
like one on-demand video, and next thing you
Yes.
know, it goes viral, and you got 5, 10,
So-
15, 20 million people.
Say, for instance, you need to purchase a virtual server. You're not going to be purchasing a virtual server off of this particular
single
server.
virtual server,
yes.
You are purchasing a cloud-based server that is run by multiple centers which also allows you the ability to say, I can't have my data coming out of this particular country or over here. So you can segregate and stay only North American data.
Segregation is bad.
Segregation.
No, segregation's good now. You forgot.
it is.
No,
I
but,
am so far
the thing that
behind.
gets me is, we have probably about 20 terabytes of data on our back end.
Yeah.
Okay. Does this mean we need 60 terabytes of space because we're tripling it to make sure we've always got a copy? I mean, that's what scares me. I mean,
Or
and-
are you going to
and-
get that surprise, oh shit bill?
Yeah, it's now 3 times higher than you thought because I only needed 20 terabytes. Yeah, but in order to do 20
But
terabytes, we have
remember,
to do
there's
60
always going to
terabytes.
be an underlying company or an underlying data center.
They're
that's
all
going to be-
lying. Did you
yeah,
not
they're
know
all
that?
lying.
They're
There's
all
going to be an
lying.
underlying data center that's controlling all this, which is going to be Amazon.
Which is going to be Amazon.
Amazon.
AWS services.
Trigger.
Trigger. Anthony's going over here. He just turned off his computer.
I just turn it off. I don't have to hear it. It's okay.
All right, so this next one, we're going to go back and beat up on Facebook a little bit here.
Yeah.
Facebook permanently banned a developer after he made an app to let users delete their news feed. Wow.
Yeah. Well, and
That's
it's funny
interesting.
because it doesn't actually delete the newsfeed. What it does is it goes in and it makes you unfollow. And unlike everything you've ever liked and followed, it just removes it all. And so that your newsfeed ends up being just your friends and family.
And the problem with that is they lose their data tracking.
Yeah.
And
They
they
lose
don't
their
know-
tracking. They no longer know who you are.
Right.
And the fact of the matter is, we should make a much bigger deal out of this because this is a way of telling people, hey, you know what, you can do this yourself. Now, I was listening to, I think it was Dan Crenshaw, the representative, One Eye, remember him from Texas? And he was talking about how, I think it was him, his dad had a Twitter account that he'd opened just so he could, No. It was Dave Rubin. It was Dave Rubin's dad, and he had opened a Twitter account just so he could see what his son was doing, and that's all he ever had on it. And he opened it up and he looked at it, and all of these things had been checked as liked.
Yeah.
The only thing he'd ever liked was Dave Rubin, and the computer went in and added all these other things that were why Dave Rubin is an idiot, basically websites.
Oh, wow.
And checked them all as if he liked them, and then filled his newsfeed with all that information.
Yeah.
And so they are auto-selecting stuff for you. At least on Twitter, we know that's true.
Facebook too. I found that I follow people that I never followed,
It-
but I've not friended them. How did I follow them by not friending them?
Well, you can just hit follow and not
But
friend.
I've never
okay?
followed
But you've
I've
never followed them either. That's the
I don't.
point.
That's the point.
Is they will do that. And so if this thing goes in and destroys that function, and every time you log in, I'll bet you the thing about this thing. This was actually a Chrome app that the guy built. So it was a browser-based app. And so every time you logged in, it'd go through and go, no, Facebook, no.
That's pretty good.
Don't put those in.
And Facebook
Yeah,
said
well, it
fired,
resulted in
fired.
him getting permanently banned. He can no longer develop apps, which is probably part of his livelihood.
Well, wait a minute. How can he no longer, just because they banned him doesn't mean he can't make apps anymore.
No, he can't. He's been banned from the developer platform.
Okay, make it for other people.
Well, but it's a Facebook app. In order to build a Facebook app, you have to build it within the
So
developer
is
platform.
that app still
Yeah.
out there?
No, they killed it. He got a cease and desist from their lawyers.
How can they make him, if he
That's-
made it for Google,
Right.
Chrome,
Right. He made it for Google Chrome.
Chrome said, okay,
Yep.
absolutely, we'll let you do this.
Right.
But
And
the
Facebook-
developer platform uses technology that
Right.
Facebook hands to
Yes.
him that they own.
Oh, okay.
Are you ready
I
for this
see.
one?
I see.
Because
Yeah.
he used it and said, hey, here's what you can do with Facebook. They're coming after him for trademark infringement for using their name in a hostile way.
Oh, God.
Oh, my
But
God.
it's okay if you use it in a good way.
Right.
Give us the money. Well, I mean, even, okay, so that kind of feeds into the next thing we're going to talk about anyway is.
If you say so.
Well, okay, so Nick Clegg he did, and I watched several interviews of this jackass over the weekend. He went on the campaign for media of going how Facebook is this, blah, blah, but he never really did answer.
No.
He never answered the question about, did Facebook amplify violent theoretic ahead of January 6th insurrection, as they called it.
Can we do insurrection with air quotes, please?
Well, I mean, the guy
yeah.
never said, he never straight out answered the question. No.
How can he answer that? Okay. The fact of the matter is their algorithm looks for what's popular and amplifies it. So whatever was popular that day was going to be amplified.
Right.
That's all there is to it.
And then
they want to give people that dopamine hit I was talking about back
Right.
at the beginning of the show.
Yep.
And so they do that by amplifying what's popular and getting more people engaged and active, and then they share, and then they see more people sharing their share, so they feel better, so now they share more stuff. And Facebook doesn't really give a damn what it is.
Right, and then this morning, or was it today or this week? They're releasing a new crackdown on getting teens and children to not look at bad stuff. And of course they stroll through.
What is bad?
I love the when they were doing the person was talking about the article. They scrolled through it, and there was a woman half dressed, and go, oh look, and it was on a kid's profile. And as it was going through the news feed.
Yep.
So they're going to start cracking down on the news feed to make it less, I guess, appealing.
I saw a meme the other day that had a very voluptuous naked woman with 3 pieces of graphics, little stars carefully placed, and that was it. Other than that, she's completely naked. She's in the Facebook feed, but Donald Trump is out. Just think about that for a minute.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's not just Trump; it's everybody.
I know. But just
the whole world. The whole
in
world's
reference
done
to
this.
that.
But it's nuts.
It's over the top.
And now there's this new thing that I was reading this morning. Whether I don't know if I really want to put myself in Facebook jail just to find out. But if you get into Facebook jail, you literally, when you get your notification, they said if you shake your phone.
To delete your notification.
And that. Okay, so
Yeah.
when not to delete a notification.
Oh.
So when you get into if you're in the middle of texting or you're putting a post, and say you drop your phone.
Yeah.
And then the phone will tell you, oops, something went wrong.
Yeah.
You say okay, and it reboots you right back into where you were at. You're not in Facebook jail anymore. Isn't that weird?
And that's why you watch Tech Shamans, folks.
So I have a couple accounts that are crap. I'm thinking about going and logging into those, and then literally trying to get banned and shaking the phone and see if it'll actually allow it to happen. I'll do the test. I have a couple accounts that
I would actually use a different
Pretty
phone
soon they're
if you
going to
have
ban
one.
your IP.
Well, we all know that that's coming. Absolutely, that's coming.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So,
Well,
but
your cell phone does use IPv6, so
it does. It does.
I like the fact that the new Safari on my phone automatically comes with a VPN.
That is cool.
That is nice.
That
It
is
just
very cool.
automatically blocks. It lets you put in temporary email addresses. So if you want to access something and you don't want to actually, you want to say you're good.
Wi-Fi.
Oh my God.
You want to say, yes, okay, go ahead, sign me up for this, whatever. Or you need to have it send a confirmation email, a confirmation code. That is frequent. And so it lets you create a fake email address, temporary, that they will forward then to your regular email address, and you can pull the code from there.
That's
That
cool.
is so nice.
Yeah,
So you're
that
not
is
actually having to use your live email address. Yeah.
So here's something a little scary. Pentagon officials said that he resigned because U.S. cybersecurity is no match for China, calling it kindergarten level. Kindergarten level. Now that should make everybody sit there and go, "Whoa!"
He's talking about the Great China Firewall.
The Great China Firewall.
The great firewall of China.
Is that what they call it?
Yes.
Great China Firewall.
No.
The Great China Firewall is now no. I don't know.
Firewall of China.
So
Yeah.
here's one of the top dudes. I think it's Nicholas
Cage.
Kellen.
Oh.
And he joined the U.S. Air Force as the first chief software officer in 2018.
Yeah.
And he's worked on this stuff, and he's like, no, I'm leaving because we can't compete, which is not good.
He just doesn't want his name into something happening. That's what it is.
And can you blame him? Because he's looking at this going, yeah, something's going to happen.
I mean, a number of U.S.
We got
departments
nothing.
have been subject to hacking attempts and ransomware attacks.
I mean, do we really know what happened to Facebook? Legit question.
It was supposedly a configuration error.
Oh, I read someone went in and they were doing updates and they deleted part of the backpack.
Yeah, they were configuring the IP addresses, DNS server settings, and
Oh my
they
God.
deleted.
I mean,
Is that
look,
really what it was?
You know what? They could have went in there and deleted. They started to send the update patch, and then their internet went out, and bam,
Nothing happened.
that's it. It just never finished.
partway through, and you're dead. You know, and it's funny because I'm looking at this, thing with the, with the military and the federal and the Pentagon, and I'm reminded of the story we covered last week, where the alphabet agencies, FBI, CIA, they're using commercial ad blockers in order to stay secure. I mean, literally, the CIA and the FBI.
That's
Oh
right.
my God! I mean. And they're using commercial ad blockers. I'm sorry, I want to hack their commercial ad blocker.
Do you know
and
why?
get their information.
You know why, right?
Why?
They're still paying Microsoft for legacy support on legacy operating systems.
Oh, they're not. Come on.
They're still running Windows XP.
Oh, geez.
They're still running
It's the only
DOS.
thing the software will run on,
They're still running
much
DOS.
like the Florida Department of
DOS.
Revenue. Good Lord.
Just think of our
Oh,
nuclear
God.
system.
You know, you know what's in that briefcase? A really big phone that you take out and you go, okay, launch. It's me.
The-
And this is a segregated system. It's
The
completely
big-
offline.
right.
Yeah.
Big-
It's analog.
right.
That's why they have to have a person stationed there all the time to hit the button.
It's a dial-up.
God have
You're
mercy.
scaring
It
me,
should
guys.
scare us. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, basically, in a nutshell, scary crap.
So we got two more things left. I'm going to jump on this one thing real quick because I just kind of found this cool, and this is not new technology. I've got guys. So an 82-year-old Spanish engineer has devised a machine that can extract water from thin air, helping people in remote regions, potentially even in deserts, gather water.
Yeah,
Yep.
look at that great big AC system.
So yeah, it's
And it also cools the house at the same time. How
Well,
awesome
okay,
is
so
that?
No, we can't. We have to use it to cool the air.
I have friends that live in New Mexico and Arizona.
Yep.
And they have their not the air handler, they have the compressor that
Yeah.
sits outside on the top of their house, right? And then what water comes off that goes into a cistern,
Right.
and they just capture it. I just thought this was.
I mean,
I don't understand. You know,
I have
think
a
this is
hose
cool.
that runs out of my house that comes out of my, air handler, and that water just runs constantly all summer. I mean, all this is a giant dehumidifier.
Right.
And I mean, they aren't that, but this thing is huge, and it's basically just cooling the coils and allowing the water from the atmosphere to condense and drip down, and boom, you've got 500 liters a day of drinkable water for a village. Hook some solar panels up to it, and it's freestanding. It's a great idea, and yes, unlike a standard dehumidifier, whose job is to just lower the humidity, this thing is designed specifically to extract the humidity in a much more efficient fashion.
Right.
That's your big deal.
And if it's out,
but
if
honestly,
you're out if you live in the desert and you live in these regions where water is super scarce, this is an awesome thing.
this is an awesome thing, and it'll say this will now work down to 10 to 15%, humidity.
right.
And,
Which-
as we're used to, 60, 70, 80% here in Florida on a regular basis. But if you're down in those levels, but you know what? This gives you an idea. You've got electricity and you don't have water. Go
Look.
find your dehumidifier.
Five or six of these in a circle around out in the desert, just running nonstop. You can create an oasis.
You could.
There you go.
You could flood the plain.
Techno-oasis.
Well, I mean, look
No
at
aces.
so look at the people that
I love
want to
creating
go off
words.
grid but can't because when you go off grid, there's one thing that you have to find, and that is water.
And that is, you
You
have to.
have to have water.
You have to have water.
So if you go off grid and that machine can run solar, then I mean, how many gallons is 500 milliliters?
500 liters is about 125 gallons. Or no, yeah, About 150 gallons.
150 gallons.
Yeah.
A day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Which is
That's-
why it was great for a village.
it's pretty good.
The
Well, that's
smaller
good for
unit will do like 40 to 60 liters a day. Great. That's like 10, 15
the average
gallons.
house. Yeah, the average
Yeah.
household uses what, 50 gallons a day?
Yeah.
Of water.
So, but that's because it's plentiful. Okay, if you had to go on restriction,
Right.
you'd find other ways.
So if you
you'd be
get-
using gray water for your toilet, you'd be using all kinds of things.
Right. So if you
Okay.
go, so if you go with one of these machines and you put them on a solar power on your own your own piece of property, even if you get the big one and it runs on solar, even if you had to back it up every now and then with some
Right.
with a generator, you got plenty of water.
Exactly. But honestly, I've got the generator, and if I put in a couple solar batteries, my well just runs on 220.
I understand, but
No
these
big
people,
deal.
but
These
but
people don't
are-
have a well.
They don't have wells.
Yeah,
So this is
exactly.
The perfect,
So
this
if
is
you're
the
out
perfect
there
thing
and you
for-
don't, and you're in an area where
Right.
you can't find, subterranean water, this is ideal.
Oh yeah, all you homesteaders
But
that want
but what I'm
something,
getting
there you
at
go.
also is if you're in a tight place, just go park your little dehumidifier in your window, leave the window open, okay, and let that puppy drain back into a bucket in the house.
Right, or a cistern in the. I have a
well,
buddy of mine.
I'm
they had
I'm
these-
talking oh crap emergency.
Yeah,
I
they
need
had these
water.
big, massive cisterns, like
yeah.
like 200, 300 gallons that are buried in the ground.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And their ACs, and then Phil says that his ACs, because he has 3,
Yeah.
he produces on a daily basis almost 20 to 25 gallons of water.
There you have it. I know the area where mine dumps out in the yard is constantly beautifully green.
Yeah.
All summer long.
Well, I know
you
other people
and,
that do
yeah.
it, and then they'll do it, and then they push the water out, and then their animals drink it.
Yeah, you can do that too.
yeah.
I found our cats,
Love it.
the outdoor cats,
Yeah.
that we have for the barn cats.
Right.
They use it as a drinking fountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's their
kinda
thing.
cool. So,
Yeah.
so the next thing I'm going to talk about is, and this one was Rob put in, which is absolutely amazing. I don't know if we have any time to watch. Maybe we can talk over the video, but deep fakes, right? Are synthetic media.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts. How good this
Yep.
is. I mean. I watched the video before we got even into today's show, and I would have never known that the guy that they were doing it was not Tom Cruise. I
Yeah.
mean, they literally, and the guy on 60 Minutes who was doing it, they did it for him. I know, quick, fast.
Yeah.
He was even like, oh my God. And the sad thing is, this all started off in porn
Yeah.
because people wanted to see Britney Spears and blah, blah, blahs and blah, 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 and Angelina
Yep.
Jolie and blah, 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 having sex with other dudes. So now they did it. That's where it kind of
Yep.
started. And I'm like, well,
yeah.
damn.
This is intense.
So watch this. They made him younger, right? They even took away his mustache while he was doing this. I don't know if we'll get that far in. Yep, there
Yep,
it goes.
there it
See?
is.
Look, that is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, he looks a little bit like Underdog when they took that away. That's not
Yeah.
right. But
And the thing of it is they're getting away with saying that they're not infringing on anybody's rights
no.
because it's all gay. To me, this will change if it goes any further. What'll happen is it will change the face of TV and movies.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. Right.
Oh, I mean, look at what happened with in the Gladiator when they lost the actor. It wasn't Russell Crowe, it was the other guy. I can't remember who it
Right.
was. Okay, they
Well,
lost
or-
him, mid-shooting, and boom, they just finished the film. But that was years ago, and that took so much money and effort.
And then when
this
they
is
lost
stuff.
Paul from
The Beatles.
Fast and the Furious.
Oh, Fast and the Furious. Yeah.
They finished a couple. Actually, they finished a movie and then put him in the next movie,
yeah.
which was mind blowing.
Yeah.
And
look at Princess Leia. I mean, she's got
Well,
that was not as good as this. I mean,
that's not as good as this
I'm
by
going to say
no
Luke.
means.
Luke. Okay, spoiler. Okay, Mandalorian Luke. He shows up, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not as good as this stuff is. And this stuff's coming out, and honest to God, it's going to be commercially available.
Well,
and that's what's scary.
It's already commercially available.
Yeah, and so to
that's-
be able to go in and have the president of the United States make a
Right.
speech about how we're launching nukes against
Yeah.
Russia, and unfortunately General Milley didn't warn them.
Well, look,
You
I mean,
know?
and look at so you get an actor who retires, and they talked about this in the
Yeah, who owns that face?
video. Well, he does. He can make money for the rest of his life, and people can just keep putting him in younger and younger or older and older inside of whatever movie
Yeah,
they
he's
want.
just going to license his face.
Yeah,
his
the one
likeness.
guy
I'm totally
talking-
in for that.
Yeah, the one guy that was in the interview was talking. He's like, "Yeah, we don't even need cameras anymore. It's all code.
Yeah.
You can tell, literally everybody built in this thing can be. It's all fake people."
Yeah. Well,
And-
it is anyway.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of converting the code. And, Majel Barrett, who was Nurse Chapel in Star Trek, then she went on, married Gene Roddenberry, went on to become Luxana Troy in The Next Generation. But she'd always been the voice of the computer. And that was ageless. So Majel actually, before she died, did a full phonetic recording session. And they broke down her voice, and her voice will always be the computer.
Well, okay, so
for all
so
for all Starfleet vessels.
the guy that was the interviewer from 60
Yeah.
Minutes, right? He wrote out this paragraph or the stuff like that, and they recorded him, and the computer was smart enough to know that this is how his phonetics go,
Yep.
his cadence is,
Picked
and
it
he
up.
typed in a thing. He said, I never spoke any of these words, and it literally sounded just like him.
Yeah.
Phonetically, cadence, the tremble in his voice it was all there, and even he was like, "Well, that's freaky as hell."
Yeah. And it really is. It was, I had a similar experience. It was funny. I was in here in the studio, and there was a program playing. And it was funny because there was audio playing from the radio. We had the radio playing at the same time. And some DJ has a voice very similar to mine. And my video was up just like this, talking like this, only the radio was playing. And I'm listening, and I'm like, I don't ever remember discussing this. What the hell's going on? And it was weird because I thought it was me talking.
Right.
And it wasn't. But in this case, you're talking about being able to synthesize whatever you want someone to say. And that can be incredibly dangerous.
But
When we are in a place where we are questioning people for things and what they've said and done to incite things,
Yep. There
this
you go.
is scary.
All right, well, hey, look, thanks for watching
Thank
this
you.
morning. We appreciate it. We know you have other things you can watch, see, do, whatever. You're hanging out with us. If you have any questions, text Shamans at WeBeamTV.com. Keep them coming in because I've actually got some really good stuff for next week. We'll see you next week.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Bye.
We got the plans cause we are the tech shamans. We understand cause we are the tech shamans. Dude, I got this cool thing to show you. Really, man? Yeah, it's far out and technical and stuff. Awesome. Yeah. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Cool.